My name is Sam Monosmith, and I'm a member of the Board of Directors of the Pennsylvania Division of the American Cancer Society. Pennsylvania is the only state in the United States that does not tax smokeless tobacco, and one of two states that does not tax cigars. This concerns the American Cancer Society for several reasons. First, smokeless tobacco and cigars are not harmless. Smokeless tobacco use has been linked to cancers of the mouth, throat, stomach, and pancreas. Cigar smoking has been linked to cancers of the mouth, tongue, and throat. Second, smokeless tobacco is highly addictive, which keeps people addicted to nicotine and using tobacco products. And third, by not taxing smokeless tobacco at a similar rate applied to cigarettes, it creates a price differential that makes smokeless tobacco attractive to youth. Because the sales of cigarettes has declined in the United States, the tobacco industry sees smokeless tobacco as a growth industry. With the passage of clean indoor air laws, smokeless tobacco has been marketed as a convenient alternative to lighting up. A wide variety of smokeless tobacco products, including small tobacco-filled pouches and dissolvable tablets, have been developed. The tablets look like candy and dissolve in the mouth, just like candy mints. Product packaging is brightly colored, and the products are flavored and aromatic. The newest products are easily concealed, spitless, and smokeless, making use undetectable while youth are in schools. According to the State Department of Health, the Pennsylvania Tobacco Facts, about 6% of middle school males and about 14% of high school males use smokeless tobacco products. And in rural Pennsylvania, smokeless tobacco use among high school males is as high as 25%. In addition, the report revealed about 4% of middle school males and 17% of high school males smoke cigars. The smokeless tobacco use rates among Pennsylvania youth are significantly higher than the national rate of about 3%. Taxing tobacco products has been shown to reduce consumption, especially among youth. Without an additional state tobacco tax, both smokeless tobacco and cigars are more affordable for kids. A tax on these products can restore funds to important health programs also. Tobacco prevention and cessation programs and breast and cervical cancer screening programs have experienced substantial funding cuts. A portion of the tax on smokeless tobacco and cigars could be used to restore funding for these important public health programs. To get our voices heard and this tax enacted, we need allies. Two very important allies are here with us today. Representative Eugene De Pasquale and Representative Dan Frankel. Representative Eugene De Pasquale, I got it, is from York County and today is introducing House Bill 2405. He agrees with the American Cancer Society that now is the time to implement this fair and needed tax. Representative De Pasquale.
Today, because of many of our laws that we have passed and because the cigarette taxes are significantly higher than smokeless tobacco taxes, what has happened is that for many of our youth, they are now going to this type of tobacco. And as someone that is a parent of two young children, I believe that it is something that certainly from a health standpoint, but just from a public policy standpoint, we should not be, in a sense, encouraging smokeless tobacco. And by being the only state in the country to not have a tax on smokeless tobacco, we are, in a sense, saying we in Pennsylvania think it's okay. I believe that is wrong, and that is why I support Pennsylvania becoming the 50th state to put a tax on smokeless tobacco. But we're not just putting this money into anywhere. We're putting it into important public health programs that can actually help restore some tough budget cuts that we have had recently. Tobacco cessation. was a cut that we recently had to make in last year's budget. Because we all know with this recession, hopefully we're coming out of it, but state revenues are not there. And obviously there's a strong desire to not raise personal income tax, sales tax, and corporate taxes. This is a tax increase that we can do. It will have important public health benefits, and at the same time we can use the funding to restore some of the tough cuts that we unfortunately had to make in the last budget. So for those reasons, I am proud to stand here and support this and make Pennsylvania the 50th state to add this tax. But before I conclude, I would just say one of the best allies that this cause had in his, and it's not just a Johnny-come-lately to this fight, but Dan Frankel has been a champion on this, fighting the tough fight for close to a decade on this. And when it wasn't such a popular thing to do, now we know that close to 70%, if not higher, the public supports this. But Dan Frankel was there from the very beginning, and I certainly want to thank him for everything he has done on this for the past decade, and hopefully we can get it done, because I think the time is now. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming out here today.
Thank you, Representative DePasquale. Dan Frankel from Allegheny County is a longtime friend of the American Cancer Society and has been trying for years to close this smokeless tobacco tax loophole. He introduced House Bill 57 to tax other tobacco products last January. Last year, he was largely responsible for a tax on smokeless tobacco products being included in the House-passed version of the state budget. The American Cancer Society is very pleased to have Representative Dan Frankel here with us today.
Thank you, and I want to thank the American Cancer Society for their persistence on this issue, and I want to congratulate my colleague Eugene DePasquale for his leadership in introducing a companion piece of legislation to something we've been working on for a very long time. Let's face it, Pennsylvania has two crises. We have a fiscal crisis and we have a health crisis. This bill goes a long way to addressing both. It is absolutely inexplicable to me that in an era where we are fighting for every possible dollar to restore funding to things that are important to this Commonwealth's health, like breast and cervical cancer screenings, which will be funded by this money under Representative Pasquale's legislation, that we don't take the opportunity to tax something that everybody else taxes. In addition to which, we have a crisis in terms of where children today are now accessing this product. And I got to tell you something. I'll show you one of them. This is a product produced under Camel's label called Snooze. Lovely packaging, very colorful. Mint, cinnamon, little pillows that you put in your mouth, cynically being marketed to young people. Today, we know that 7% of middle school children are using these tobacco products. 15% of high school students are utilizing these tobacco products. The tobacco industry has cynically decided that this is their target area for growth in this country. And we need to say that we're not going to tolerate it. And quite frankly, the tax is important from that perspective. We need to be taxing these products to not only create additional revenues to support funding for health programs, but we need to tax it to discourage people from utilizing these products as well. We believe that it be taxed on price, and it should be taxed at an equivalent level, at least as much as we tax cigarettes. And for that reason, both pieces of legislation create a tax at about 60% of the value of these products, which is comparable to the level that cigarettes are taxed. It is really about time. We passed this, the House Democrats last year in our budget negotiations passed this tax, sent it over to the Senate where it was rejected because they've drawn a line in the sand. They believe there ought to be no new tax revenues. This is something that makes no sense for there to be a debate about. 49 other states have it. We need to have it. We need to have it to create additional revenue, and we need to have it to create more healthy children and people throughout the Commonwealth and discourage this product's use. So I want to thank the American Cancer Society and my colleague for their efforts here, and look forward as we go into this next budget process in enacting a other tobacco products tax finally in the state of Pennsylvania. Thank you.